Hops, one of the main ingredients in beer, isn't a crop that's usually found in Indiana. But one Monroe County farmer has recently patented a unique variety of the plant. And as Mitch Legan reports, he says it could revolutionize the state's hops industry.
Clearview Farm in northern Monroe County has had hops growing for close to a century. But it wasn't until recently that somebody decided to do something with them.
And so part of the job is coming out here every couple days and wrapping them.
Mike Baker has farmed this portion of Monroe County for the last 43 years. When he bought the land, he initially thought the hops were weeds that wouldn't leave his shed alone.
And we looked at it and we said, it's a hops plant. And my wife says, well, we can't get rid of the hops. So we dug it, just transplanted it, moved it in 2 or 3 different places. So I guess she gets credit for that. And it's been growing.
They didn't think much of the hops plants until 2017, when Travis Wade entered the picture. The two got to talking about the plants, and Wade took a sample back to his genetics lab. When he ran it through the database, it didn't match up with any other hops varieties. So they sent it to Purdue and got the same answer there.
And then we immediately knew that this was something very real that we had to take advantage of immediately.
The crew got to work on the plants and developed a patent for CV12 hops. It has a distinct, spicy, piney, citrus flavor profile, which Wade says would allow it to pair well with other varieties of hops. They're working on developing a handful more.
So each one of these poles is a different variety, so to speak, different genetic makeup.
But the real development is the vigor with which the hops grow in southern Indiana's hot, humid climate. 98% of American hops are grown in Washington, Idaho, and Oregon, where the growing days are longer and the climate isn't nearly as harsh.
The idea is sort of, if something can grow here, then there's no way that we couldn't modify it to grow wherever we wanted to grow it.
The variety has caught the attention of Hop Growers of America, a trade group that represents growers across the country. The hops industry has dealt with a lot the past couple years, with wildfires and a heat dome affecting production in the Pacific Northwest.
If this variety proves to be more resilient, to heat tolerant, to heat stress, to other pest pressures, I think that our growers would find that very intriguing and very compelling and something that they'd want to explore on their own operations.
CV12's patent notes the variety's increased cone size and unique oil contents. Baker and Wade say it also reaches the flowering stage quicker and at a shorter height than other varieties.
I wasn't prepared for how many international people were interested in this, because it seems that this kind of opens up a lot of other growing regions.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is also keeping an eye on the development. Public hops breeder Kayla Altendorf says it's too early to determine whether the variety will be a game changer just yet.
In plant breeding, we have this well-known concept called genotype by environment interaction. Because it does super well in 1 or 2 environments, it's really hard to say how it will do outside of that environment, or even just in the next county over.
But she says the news is encouraging. She'll be looking to see what kinds of yields the plant gets and how the variety holds up against pests and other stresses.
It would be really important to test it widely in the target growing region, and then if there's interest in expanding outside of the target growing region, we would need to test in, for example, the Pacific Northwest.
Baker and Wade expect anywhere from 4 to 12 pounds of hops this harvest. They start flowering at the summer solstice and are generally ready to pick around September. After that, the Clearview crew will partner with Bloomington Brewing Company to create a beer centered around the new hops.
It's going to be a blonde. I think a great name for it would be Indiana Blonde. But we're hoping to get enough hops for them to make either 10, 20, 30 gallons.
It'll likely take years to determine how viable the hops are. In the meantime, Baker's imagining a future where Hoosier hops grow across the Midwest. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Mitch Legan.